So, thanks for coming to here, not your biscuit side or something. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to do some bios. My name is Leslie Axis. I run the storytelling web series One Time Stories. I didn't expect that. All right, so we got Reed Wetmore. He makes videos on his main channel and collab channel every week about his experiences as being a transgender and a bunch of other stuff. Asante the artist, who's a filmmaker and blogger who talks about her daily life, culture, race, and college stuff, and she does short films that I personally really like. Haley Blay is a lonely musician and blogger living in Canada and constantly dreams of puppies. And Zach, I'm just going to read yours. Yeah. Zach Arad, my bio would be something like, I'm Zach, and I make videos about my life with you guys. Let's be internet friends. I do need to address that Laura Carmel's not here due to really stupid travel circumstances beyond her control. So let's just clap for her because she's here. We all chatted beforehand, so I might bring up some things that she brought up in conversation. Just an FYI. So this thing has been going on for the last, this is the third year, and all thanks to James Schwartz, aka Talent Hatter on YouTube, brought this thing together, and now it's become a yearly thing. It's pretty awesome. I'm really stoked to be a part of it for the second time. I was on the panel last year. All right, so I'm going to start with some very basic questions, and then we'll go into the nitty-gritty stuff. We're going to be discussing both the pros and the cons of being a smaller YouTuber on the YouTube space. All right? So how would you guys define less than famous?
Wait, this is the less than famous one?
Right.
It's cool. I like it. I can go outside without getting attacked by creatures. Okay, cool.
Any other, what would you guys define, like, as the less than famous community? Do you have a particular definition, or being a part of the smaller YouTuber creative world?
I think it's like acknowledging that all content creators matter, like rather than just the big people. So like no matter how far the video goes, it's still important to recognize those videos too.
It's really easy to get caught up nowadays in numbers with YouTube, like how many subscribers or views or whatever, but I think it's important to acknowledge that you can still have a big impact no matter what your numbers are, no matter what, how much audience or views you have. That's for me what being less than famous is.
Okay. Yeah, I think when I'm thinking of less than famous, I'm thinking of people who are like in it for the discussion, in it for exchange of ideas, in it for making people laugh and having a good time and meeting other people through the YouTube communities.
Can you hear all this in the
Yeah.
back?
Maybe mic closer.
Baller. All right, so as of 2012, that was the first channel to reach. There was the first channel to reach 1 million subs. As of now, there are 1,300 channels that have reached 1 million subscribers. 30 channels that have reached 10 million. Right?
Who's the first? Who was the first that reached 1 million?
I'm blanking. Who knows the answer?
Fred. It was Fred.
Fred?
Oh, Fred.
Okay. Somebody. Great. So, as the scope of subscriber count has changed, has the definition of less than famous, or what you would consider a smaller creator, changed?
so in a sense, because if you don't have like over 100,000 subscribers, I think you would be considered a smaller YouTuber, unless you had like all the ins, you know, and you're like, I know them and stuff, but you know, every time it goes up in increments for subscribers, like you said, 1,300 or something, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's funny because we're like all comparing ourselves to people who have like millions of subscribers now because we know that like that's out there and that's a possibility.
Yeah.
So like even people with 100,000 subscribers will also describe their channels as smaller channels because exactly, because there's people with 10 times as many subscribers as them. And then you have people with like 100 subscribers who are also smaller channels, but those are very different.
And there are like two ways to gauge success, right? There's high subscriber count and high view count. And as I've been on YouTube as a creator since 2008. I remember the days when 10,000 was just, what? Whoa, that's pretty neat. But now I'm seeing people that have under 100,000 that also are like really working and putting themselves out there and finding other methods to, like Akilah Hughes just hit 100,000, right? Would you have believed me if I said Akilah Hughes just hit 100,000?
Yeah.
Like she's all over the place. So
Quality over quantity.
I'm wondering, how do you guys feel about like maybe the numbers being relative over time? And so if view count maybe counts more as a gauge of success rather than sub count, does the less than famous thing kind of go away after a while? I might have answered the question for you, but what do you guys think? You guys think, if not, I can move on.
I mean, not like to be that person, but I don't really, not that I don't look at my view counts because I do. That would be a huge lie. That I did. But it's not like that's not what I'm doing it for. You know, it's not like, at least that's not my gauge of success. My gauge of success is more like, you know, are people interacting with this? Are people getting anything out of this? Like, what is the impact that this is making? And like, not just on YouTube, but like on other platforms. Are people like engaging with the content that I'm making? Am I happy with the content that I'm making? And you know, whether I have like 1,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, I think that stays consistent for me no matter what. I think even if I had, you know, 10,000 subscribers, that would still be my gauge of success personally.
And how else do any of you guys gauge your success in your videos?
I like to think of the first day comments. So those are the people who find it, like that actually want to see it. So those people are going to be honest with you, whether they like it or not. And after that, they just get mean. So it's not good. But the people who find it right away are, you know, they're the ones who are honest with you, like, yeah, I really like this, or like, I didn't like this at all, but maybe next week.
Yeah, I judge my success by the comments. I think the comment section is like one of the most important sections and parts of, you know, video layout. And I judge success by like whether people are really engaging in the content, whether people are giving me positive feedback, or you know, saying that it made them laugh or made them think. And if I'm getting that kind of response, that's when I really know, you know, that it's doing something positive. But I also think it's interesting, like back to the point of like whether sub count is really determining who is famous and who is not. That like we're beginning to talk about influencers as opposed to YouTubers, and it's like measuring social like influence across social media is like a little bit harder to quantify.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Like, as long as people are engaging positively and not telling you, like, delete your channel right now, I think, and as long as I'm happy with the content that I'm producing, and I'm not like, oh, this is, like, I'm not just doing it for the idea of gaining success, then it's not just, like, something that I'm working for nothing, but I'm actually working for me, you know?
Right. I think my gauge of success is if it's something that I want to watch again. Like if I put it up and I'm like, wow, yeah, I did a great job Nobody else can tell me otherwise. Great. But I do want to touch on the comment section for a bit. So we're told over and over again, and especially in panels like these, maybe even industry stuff, that for your own safety and sanity, to not pay attention to the comments. And do you guys think, as a smaller YouTuber, that kind of advice changes? Like, do you pay attention to the comments as opposed to like not being told to by people around you?
I think it's hard not to. You're always checking and seeing what people are saying, and you'll see like positive responses or negative responses, but you're always looking. At least I'm always looking.
Yeah. I think as a smaller creator, like I'm seeing everything that people write. And I think it's one thing to ignore them, but it's another thing to like not take them to heart all the times and not take them as something that you necessarily need to act on. But I think like even with the trolls, like if I'm making people mad, then like that's also kind of doing something right, because I'm making them really think about this issue, and it proves that it's something important and worth debating. So.
And speaking of like the comment section, when you make a flavored kind of taste test, I'm sure you can guess what the comments say. And it's really interesting to like watch the video go and then just read the same comment over and over and over again. And I don't know, to me like it's funny now at this point. Like when I first started, if someone would have commented like gay on my first video, I'd have been like, oh my god, like, what? And I can't even believe this. And now it's like, oh, got another one. Like he's angry. Like, so it's like a game kind of now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to, distinguish between don't pay attention to the comments and don't internalize the comments, because, like, I see them all too. And, if you have thousands of people commenting on your videos, you might not see them all, but I see them all. And being trans on YouTube, I get pretty specific negative comments about myself. So it's, like 4 years ago, that would have been something that I would have been like, oh my god, like, wow, I'm trans, like, but like, those hate comments, I would have been like, oh my god, like, but now, I mean, it's evolved over time, I guess, and I think seeing all the comments kind of helps, because it's like, yeah, there are these people, like, there's so many of them, they're out there, if they find this video, they're probably going to comment this specific thing.
Yeah. As a smaller creator, do you think, like, I know your perception of how the comments has affected you over time, right? Do you think that's a different feeling as a smaller creator as opposed to a larger one?
I don't know, because I'm not a larger creator, but if I were to speculate, no, I don't think so, because I think it's the same feelings either way, if you're reading all of the comments or if you're not, or, you're a person no matter how many subscribers or comments you have, so I think that, if you're getting these comments, then your evolution of how to respond to them might happen a little bit quickly, more quicker than it would for me, because I don't have that even view count, but I think either way, like, you're human, so you're going to respond in some sort of way.
Yeah, I think it might just be like learning how to respond to negative comments and like having quick rebuttals, which is like something that I've come up with, because people will always comment like, oh, like she just got into Harvard because she's black, like she doesn't really deserve to be there. I'm just like, yep, my application was just a picture of my face.
Me? I forgot the question. I was just listening. Sorry.
Let's talk about the positive side. What do you guys like about being a smaller person?
I like that I get to interact with people on a one-on-one basis. because they're not thousands of people who are asking me for that. So I can really take time to connect with people on a personal level.
Yeah, I think at some extent it can get more personal, not in a creepy way, but like you can really connect with individuals more, like your viewers more. I like that.
Yeah, I think for me, the people who are contacting me or want to talk to me are often trans youth, and they really are seeking out someone like to personally connect with. So for me, being a small YouTuber, it's like so great for me to like be able to Skype with people or be able to like respond to people's emails or contact people, and it makes them feel like so much less alone, I think. And to know that there's someone out there and like they look up to me just like they would look up to any larger YouTuber, and that I'm responding to them and connecting with them and giving them advice or whatever, it just makes me like I think feel so special.
I guess my favorite part would be that, like, I'm sorry. I was gonna say something, I forgot what I was gonna say. For me, my favorite part is that I still have that view of everything. Like, I still get to see everything, just because it's not like so big where it's like overwhelming. And like getting the message that's like, oh, you helped me come out, and then you read it and you're just like, wow, like even if that's only happened one time, it's still like so important and like one of the craziest feelings. It's like, wow, I really impacted someone, and you see that because you're still small enough to like be able to like interact with people and see like what's going on.
Okay, so I run a web series, right, that has been changing and growing over time, over the last like year and a half. And I haven't been sticking to one format. I've been trying to make this project be the best project it can be. My benefit of being a smaller YouTuber is that I have a core group of awesome people who are just taking that ride with me and maybe giving me constructive criticism so that I don't feel like I have to be stuck in one thing. Do you guys feel like you have more of a creative freedom as a smaller YouTuber?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
That's my point of view. Okay. We discussed a little bit about being a creator as well as being a fan of larger people. You guys want to touch on that a little bit? Maybe? Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's like one of the weirdest parts for me is that I feel like I feel like I'm just not just a fan, but I feel like I personally have all these people who I look up to, and I see them, and I'm like, oh my god, that's this person. But then people do that to me too, and especially being here, it's been so weird. People coming up to me and they're like, Reed, and I'm like, whoa, yeah, like you know my name. Yeah, and you know, or they'll be like, hey, I'm so and so. I'm like, oh, I'm Reed. They'll be like, I know. And it's like, oh, right, okay, yeah. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think it's so weird seeing myself as that person, and then having people come up to me and being like, I admire you, and it's like, I can kind of be both roles, and that's what's really, really cool about being a small YouTuber, is like you have this following, but also you can like kind of blend in and just, you know, be one of the attendees of this conference.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I like the relative anonymity
Yes.
that you can have.
Yeah.
And still just like, you know, walk around in peace. And like, and also that you can like approach people who, you know, you've been watching, and this is my first VidCon as well. So like seeing the people who you really admire and really like feel a connection to because you see snippets of their daily life, and like meet them in the flesh and be able to connect with them on like a peer-to-peer level, especially with this like creators pass, like as a peer-to-peer kind of thing, or both like have similar interests and have this video that we're doing.
We all have millions of subscribers. We can relate.
Yeah, so relatable. Yeah.
I think that it's good to like be a fan of someone else just because it reminds you of like why you're doing what you're doing, like why you like doing what you're doing. So like you have to really just be a fan too to like appreciate videos and like why you're, you know, creating.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about audiences elsewhere. I know some of you have larger audiences on other platforms or on different channels, and I want to know, what is that like to go back and forth from your regular channel as a smaller person to this this other thing with a larger audience?
Okay, well, I will take this one. Okay, I'm gonna plug myself. Zach is on tumblr.tumblr.com. Basically, I have a blog that runs me, and I have recently on there I've reached 500,000.
Excuse?
What?
Yeah.
Get
So it's really weird because like on Tumblr, like I contacted like staff members and like just had like crazy things happen on Tumblr, and then on YouTube like no one cares. So it's weird because it's like hey like Tumblr like sent me shirts and I was like wow this is like amazing. They were like thank you for like using this as your like outlet for creativity and stuff, and it's just like wow like like they value me or something, and then on YouTube it's like well.
Well, do you feel like more pressure on Tumblr as opposed to on YouTube?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, there's like pressure for both. Like, I feel the pressure of like wanting to be consistent with both. So.
Is it a pressure to grow on one and a pressure to keep on the other?
Are you like confused as to why you're having to all subscribe to your YouTube?
I put it everywhere, and then I get messages that are like, I had no idea you could do this. I plugged myself, like, before I started talking, like, I'm sure you can imagine how often I plug myself on there. It's like, where are you?
Yeah, I am part of a collab channel on YouTube called FTM Transcasting, and it's me and 7 other trans guys, and we just recently hit 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we were the first like all FTM channel, and to my knowledge, we're the biggest like trans guy channel on YouTube. So yeah, so it's interesting to be like on that channel and having like so much engagement and so many comments and so many followers and all that, and then going back to my normal channel, which is like a fraction of that, of the viewership and the comments and everything. And it is kind of weird to be like, where are you? Like, why aren't you?
It's just like the Miley Cyrus and Montana thing. Right?
Yeah. I am both people, so why aren't you? Yeah. It is kind of weird, but it's cool because it just you get a wider audience of people and you get a wider variety of people. And to me, like, it doesn't really matter what channel or what platform people are engaging with me on. I'm just glad that like that many people in general are like reaching out to me and like watching my videos, like no matter where it is.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about how basically being a smaller person has, you can tell like a larger YouTuber has had their personal lives and professional lives affected dramatically. How does it change your job life, your personal life, your relationships and friendships as a smaller person?
I think for me being a musician, it gives me some sort of credibility. You know that if I go to a show, I'm like, I don't just play in cafes every Friday night. I play in my bedroom online too. And people watch it. You know, so it's kind of good for that aspect. But all relationships have been broken. My family has left me. That's true. Okay. It's good for that, yeah.
My family and everything knows about my YouTube channel because they'd be like, what are you doing up in your room? Who are you talking to? Are you talking to yourself? Why is there a camera there?
Yeah.
But like at work, I like to have my YouTube channel as like my secret identity, and like something that people who happen to stumble across it find, but it's not really something that I promote as much. And when people find out, I'm like, I've been compromised. But I think like I do work in video, and so it's really great to have another outlet to practice and to get down like the editing systems and to work on stories and storytelling and like working on comedic timing and things like that. And so, and my like portfolio is on my YouTube channel, and so I link to that. So it's kind of like, you know, if they follow the breadcrumbs, they can find it. But I think it's definitely helped in the discussion.
So you do, like, I actively put my YouTube channel and my stuff on my resume.
Yeah, no, it's on there.
Yeah, all right.
Whether they click on it and watch all my videos,
Yeah.
it's a different story. But
I like to think of it as, like, especially for the job perspective, just because I graduate next year, so I'm going to have to, like, get a real job or something. And my thinking is, like, if you can handle me at my worst, then you have to do my best. So if you find my videos, that's me, so sorry.
Yeah, for me, it's like, it's interesting because if you find my YouTube and you watch my YouTube, then you find out that I'm trans. So for me, it's like this added element of, okay, like I'm at work and nobody knows I'm trans there. And so it's like, oh, what do you do in your spare time? I'm like, oh, you know, nothing. Or why are you going to LA? I'm like, just going. Yeah, because if I talk about it on YouTube, then they'll know that I'm trans. So it's like, it's a lot bigger for me, depending on who I'm talking to, or like if they know that I'm trans, or if I feel safe telling them that I'm trans, then I'll be like, oh yeah, hey. But that's been how a lot of people have found out, actually. Like a coworker of mine last week was like, oh, I found your YouTube videos and I knew you're trans, so can we talk about it? And so that's been interesting. But I also feel like, oh, I've been compromised. Like I definitely feel like that. Like, oh, how you found my videos? Like, oh no. Like what? I don't remember. Like, but yeah, I mean, like my parents watch my videos. My mom is here. She's.
Aww.
It's definitely a little bit more complicated for me to like just give people my YouTube. I don't put it on my resume or anything. So.
I think if you wanted to do something particularly video-wise in that field, like,
Oh,
I somehow, like, I was studying theater, and then I just was vlogging at the same time. It's like, oh, I'll make videos for theater, and then it's like, oh, I'll do this for an actual theater, and then it was like, oh, I'll join a production company based on vlogging. So you never know how it's going to actually affect your life journey. I do want to bring up Lauren's point of view, even though she's not here. Lauren was actually for a long time a teacher at an elementary school. So that's a completely different perspective of having to keep that entire life private. I can imagine other groups like military people. I can't think of any other examples. Those are my two big examples. But I wish that she was able to discuss that with us. Okay, so what does your role in the community look like as a smaller creator? I'm modeling that person.
Dumb.
Yeah?
Mine's really dumb and weird.
Are you pretty active in the community, or?
Yeah, like do I comment and stuff? Yeah, I'm definitely a fangirl to some extent. I don't know what my role would be. I'm just kind of like, good job, nice video, cool hair, where'd you get that shirt, kind of thing. I'm just putting videos up and watching videos on the tubes, on the YouTube.
I would say I'm part of like the nerd fighter community. And like social issues, geeky social issues. So yeah, like interacting with other creators. I like finding smaller creators as well. We'll go through, I think like the comment section again is just like such a treasure trove of like content, because like when you're watching someone who you really enjoy and you look and see who else is really enjoying engaging with this content, and then clicking on their channels through, the comment section and finding people that way. I really enjoy that. And I also feel like very like new, like I've only been doing this for 2 years, and I realized that there are people who've been doing this for like 6, 7 years. trying to really like meet people and engage and interact and like put myself into those things.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to go from, I mean, when I first started, I didn't, making videos, I didn't even know that there was like this big mainstream YouTube community. Like I only did it so I could like document my transition, like just for me to see, and then people started watching it, and I was like, why are people watching? You know, yeah, it like gained momentum, and I still don't really understand why people would watch me talk about that stuff, but like, you know, I did it for me, and then I found out that YouTube was like actually a bigger thing, and I became like a major fangirl like pretty quickly. But I feel like it's weird because I'm also watching their videos like to get ideas and like to like, you know, I watch certain creators because I really like the style of their videos, or I want to like try to incorporate some of you know, what they're doing into what I'm doing, and I think that's part of being like a smaller YouTuber is like I don't really have a lot of experience with that kind of stuff, and the people who have been on YouTube for like 7 or so years, like yeah, the people who have been on YouTube for like 7 or so years, like not only am I like, oh my god, like I love your videos, but I also like try to adopt it into what I'm doing. So I would say that like now I'm pretty active with like commenting and stuff.
I was just gonna say that like being smaller is like that's the stage where you have like the drive and the determination. Like bigger people like are going to get the views no matter what. So like they do try, but you don't have to like keep that like hope kind of thing. Like especially if you're trying to like transition into being like a bigger YouTuber kind of thing. So it's just like not giving up at all. Like it doesn't even matter about views necessarily, but like to keep going and keep making like even if you're just trying to like, make better videos for yourself, like being a part of the smaller community, that's like where you really have to stay focused and stay like determined.
Do any of y'all have goals to be larger on YouTube, to grow and be? It's totally fine. I personally would not want to be famous based on my personality. That's the most terrifying thing I have ever seen. But do any of you guys want to be up there?
I mean, I do. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, 100,000 people are hitting their subs, I'm not gonna turn it down. I mean, if it happens, it happens, and that would be great, but I'm also cool with like where can your videos stay apart from being a YouTuber, because like that also works. And then that way, like I like that I don't have to really worry about monetization and brand creation as much, because like it's something I'm doing just for content.
Yeah, especially since I use my YouTube channel as like a platform to showcase my music and performing and stuff. So more people see it, like that's where I want to go with my career. So if more people see it, I'm like, good, this is okay, yeah, let's do this. Me, you know, so.
I have one more question before we go to Q&A. So if you guys want to start lining up, I guess you can do that. I've asked all of you maybe to bring an example of a less than famous YouTuber. I'm going to try and say maybe less than 5,000 subs to share with the group. Who wants to go first?
I will. I have this friend on YouTube. Her name is Hannah Brick. Her YouTube name is The Brick House. Like house. House. And she does like daily vlogs, and she's really funny and really creative and relatable and neat. She's just a neat gal. So if you go check out her videos and comment like, I came here from VidCon, she'll be really confused. And what? Where? And so yeah, I think she has like 250 subscribers. And I found her through a comment on one of my videos. And I was like, I love you. That's it. And that was a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with mine. Both of mine have less than 100 subs. So she'll be waiting some up. But one, and shall not be a Twitter because they're actually easier to find on Twitter. But one is Sydney. She goes by bad_comedy.
Yeah.
on Twitter. She's hilarious. I think it's great comedy. And she's been doing it for less than a year, and she has like super funny videos, skits. She just made one about things to do when you're not at a VidCon. She's hilarious. She's hilarious. And then Malika Myers, Malika, and then Myers, Mayas. She's another Black Girl Magic. And she is a blogger, and she talks about like her life. She talks about, she did a movie review. I think she's like really relatable, super authentic, and down to earth. And also less than 100 subs. It just started previously, so.
Yes. My friend of mine, his name is Alex Haney. His YouTube channel is Alex Haney 100. And he is also a trans man. He lives in Canada, and he is like really big, like outdoors guy. And his channel is called like Out of the Closet into the Woods or something, whatever like that. But yeah, he talks all about like being queer and like being, joining these like outdoor groups and like finding spaces for queer people like in these like backwoods, clubs that they have in Canada and whatever. And he vlogs like while canoeing and while like whitewater rafting. He's like really badass. So he has I think like 1,000 subs, but his videos are super cool.
I would have to go with Lauren. And since she's not here now, it's not like as weird as like, I know it's nice of you. So I started watching everyone because, I was like, hey, I'm a fan of these guys, so I'm gonna check them out. And like, I mean, you guys are great, but Lauren, yeah, especially since she didn't get to come, so.
Lauren is really funny.
Yeah,
She's
just,
really good.
and her accent. I mean, I know that's so cliche, but accents, but we love that very much.
I have two. One is Little Art Talks. It's an art education channel hosted by Karen, and she is fantastic. I learned a lot about color theory from her, as well as she has this great series called 5 Artists in 5 Minutes, and talks about different artists that's running contemporarily right now, including like GIF artists and really cool online media stuff. The second one is Super Sam Stuff.
Yes.
He's a UK YouTuber and very eloquent young dude, and really he's becoming more integrated into the community, and I'm really excited to see him grow as a YouTuber. So yeah, those are my suggestions. Woo! All right, so we got a good bit of time to answer some questions here. So don't feel anybody's question matters, believe me. So if you want to answer something, if you don't, you can answer those things. We're all going to be up here. Go ahead.
Hello. Thanks and congrats for being here. Can I take this out? Okay. So my name is Sarah. My channel name is Sarah Got Game, and that's only my current iteration. I have been on YouTube since the first year, making a great variety of videos. I started with vlogs and then skits, everything like that. And the thing that I was really excited about this panel is that, I'm not sure how to say this without it sounding bitter, but I think a lot of the people that are popular, they might have some level of skill, but it's mostly luck, because YouTube was such a new thing. But now, to become a big YouTuber, you have to be very good at gaming the system. You have to know exactly how to edit, how to, get people to respond and share and stuff like that. So with that in mind, are you still, you guys said that you would like to be big YouTubers. Are you willing to have to play the system to become big, or is it just sort of well, it'll be nice, but I don't want to change myself that much?
For me personally, it's like it would be nice, but I'm not going to compromise my creative integrity, I guess. And for me, the point, of being on YouTube now is to make people feel less alone and to engage with queer people and people of that community. And if
out good content, and like eventually, if you produce it enough, like good content will get noticed and will find an audience. And then, also just trying to like genuinely be interested in other people who are doing YouTube and who are on the platform, and like really making friends and becoming invested, so that you're building a community around you and have people who appreciate your work because it's good and will share it based on the fact that it's good, not because of the fact that like you're just cross-sharing each other's videos in order to promote each other. Yeah.
I think there is like a big underground kind of like side that no one knows about, like how big people like share each other's stuff all the time. Just like I've noticed on Tumblr too, it's kind of weird like gaining the following because it's not really compromising yourself, but like you get this like mutual understanding that like people are like on the same platform kind of thing. So you kind of just like befriend each other. So like you have two people that are talking to each other, like maybe not even necessarily because like something caught their eye, but because you both have like 200,000 followers or something. So I think a lot of that comes into play.
There is a comfortability there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like from my point of view, I run like the web series I'm on features not me, but other YouTubers and some non-YouTubers, but mostly people that make videos. And a part of me wants to game the system, change the format to make it more YouTuber audience friendly, because it means that other people will get to see, like more people will get to see these other great people's stuff. And so, but it's hard to like want it to be creatively fulfilling for me, and I struggle with that a lot. So yeah.
But in the meantime, I definitely agree. Personal connection is way better than arbitrary numbers.
Word.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi.
So my question is kind of along the lines of, as Zach mentioned, like how a popular YouTuber might make something, but they don't have to try and they get a bunch of views, like the whole Charlie cereal thing. And so do you guys ever get discouraged maybe if you make something pretty mainstream and it gets a bunch of views, and if you work really hard on something and it just like kind of falls flat?
The question is, if you make something mainstream and it doesn't really work out in terms of view count, you ever get discouraged by it?
I feel like that happens a lot. Like you make a video and you're just like, I really like this one, and then my mom will be like, I didn't like that one, and I'm just like, okay. And I feel like things happen a lot, especially like the other part of your question. I did the video kind of taste test video, like I said, and it did really well, which was super exciting. And then I kind of got discouraged because shortly after I was like announced to the panel, it got flagged like 18 plus to watch, and so that was kind of discouraging. And then it was really discouraging when BuzzFeed took like the video and then did it and got like 4 million views, and then it's like, oh,
Aww.
It's rough because they have a built platform, so I think like a good part of their work is like curating by finding other people's stuff and then like kind of replicating that formula.
Betty Fine went on a huge rant about them. She was white.
It's hard. They have to like aggregate, like create like shit ton of content every week, and so can't really like. You mentioned like how many music to come up with, but anybody else want to talk about discouragement? Something?
I think I'm hopeful because like I think Susan said this a lot. Like it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And so just because your video isn't well received within the first like week or month doesn't mean that it might not be found later on. And like I've seen videos that like take off on Facebook, and then I go to the YouTube channel and it was made like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And it's just now taking off. So like you really never know.
Yeah, it's on there forever.
Yeah.
Like, unless you delete it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sophia and my channel is Sophia's Sphere, and I guess you can tell I'm from Australia. My question to you, being like just starting, is did you ever use the little tag section at all? And then like, how do you use that? Because every time I upload a video, I'm like, see that, I'm like, oh, that's scary. Like, what do I do with that? So I was just wondering if you guys use that at all.
Yeah, it's beyond me. I just tag like my name because I'm not looking for it. Yeah, I'm kind of blindsided by that too. I don't really know what necessarily is out there. So I've heard that it's good to put like read-on tags and not overload it. But like what I try to do with like tags and like titles and metadata and stuff is make it something that I would put into a search bar if I was looking for this video. So like I did a VidCon tag that I made, and it was like fit for VidCon, but I said like VidCon 2015 tag because like that's the kind of thing people search out when they're looking to like find people, and like just making that searchable.
Right, if you put a bunch of tags at once, YouTube will probably consider that as spamming. And I've seen that a lot with like more of my industry videos, not necessarily my personal stuff. I remember way back when tags were shown in the description, so I would just write little jokes instead of actual tags because I felt like it was dumb. But I guess for my storytelling project, I would write live storytelling or even sometimes the mock because when you look up storytelling, that's what they are looking for first. So
It's funny that you say that YouTube would see it as a spam because I know I would type up one thing and then it comes up with suggestions. It's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll click that too. Oh, and I'll click that. And I'll click that one too. So that's funny you say that.
thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chris. I guess my biggest question to you guys is like, what tools does YouTube or like do you guys use to try and like as small creators to try and like reach out to communities, beyond just Twitter outreach or like how, like what's special for small creators on YouTube or how to use the platforms to reach out?
Okay, I'm going to say this very clearly. The all activity tab is your best friend on YouTube. Okay, so if you can make your settings to like say what you're liking on YouTube. That will show what kind of stuff that you like, and it'll show what kind of personality you are, and then people will actually find more people because of your stuff. And if you're a viewer, go to the audience tab and find people. So that's where I would mostly find. Anybody else? Tumblr's also good.
Yeah, I mean, I just share what I'm making on my social media, and I use the YouTube analytics a lot. That's really helpful, and there are some free videos online to watch to help you navigate the YouTube analytics page. Because when I first started looking at it, I was like, I thought I got it. I was like, okay, this is this and this is this, but like it's so much more involved if you like actually want to interact with it. So I would definitely recommend like trying to learn how to navigate that.
There's a creator academy, which is like YouTube's learning videos, and I also like plug the channel Video Creators. Yes. He has some really great content, so definitely check that out as well.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. We do have about 10 minutes left, just let me know.
Hey, I'm Sky. I'll keep this super short. First, I just want to say that y'all aren't small. It makes me sad you keep saying that because you're big. You've mentioned these really personal connections you've had with your fans, with the people that really are engaging with you. So I just want to remind you that you're big. And I remember when I had 100 comments that I would screenshot, or 100 subscribers, and I would screenshot the positive comments and put them in this little folder for the days when I was like bullied or felt down and read through them. And I've got some like memorized from 6 years ago that, I still do that even with more subscribers now. And I was just wondering if there's anything that you could share that, since you're small, maybe I'd say that you probably just have a better memory because you got that. Is there anything specific that you remember that just made you feel like, wow, like this is why I'm doing what I'm doing?
Yes. I recently went to the Philadelphia Trans Health Conference in June, which Sky was also at.
Yeah.
And I met this 16-year-old trans kid and his mom. And his mom came up to me and was like, I feel like I know you, I watch all your videos, like you help me like understand who my son is. And I was like, oh my god. And then he came up to me and was like, you like like saved my life, like your videos, and like that's it. Like at the end of the day, like it doesn't really matter how many subscribers I have or how many views I have or like what my analytics say or anything like that. It's like this kid comes up to me and it's like, you saved my life, and his mom is like, you helped me understand my son. Like that's why I do it. Like it doesn't, like at the end of the day, no matter how many hate comments I get or whatever, it's like I remember those moments, and like that's what's like so special.
I think for myself, like the reminder is like being that I'm 20, almost 21. I feel like I have. I mean, I know that's not old or anything, but a lot of people watching YouTube are in high school and like 15, 16, or even younger. So I think it's really important to be like someone that's so comfortable with their sexuality, and it just gives a lot of hope because I remember like when I was 15, like it was really nice to see that. So to be that for someone else is just really important to me.
I think it was great. I just graduated from college, but I was able to see in the incoming class of freshmen a handful of young Black women who watched my channel and said that it's a good example for them, and it's great to like be that person and be that person that I wish I had seen, to know that like this is possible for you, and like you can achieve this type of place, and this place is for you, this space that you can exist in, that wasn't possible like 30 years ago.
How can I follow up? No, like I can't. You guys are great. I'm thinking if someone tells me that I didn't sing a flat note,
For me, a couple of years ago at VidCon, I was in the expo hall and I had two girls come up to me, and they're best friends. One was from America, one was from Australia, and they told me that they found each other because I liked one of the person's videos, and the other person found it in their all activity tab. And then they started commenting, they became best friends, and then they were rooming together at VidCon and meeting for the first time. And I was like, what? I did that? And so I realized that like even something as passive as like liking a video can change the life of someone else. So it made me think about like what kind of role that I would like to play as a person on the internet. Thank you for your information.
Hi. Oh, yeah. Okay. Actually, I'm never tall enough to reach the mic. It's the first time. The struggle. My question is, I know a lot of people rely on a certain social media platform to gain their audience and build their success, but do you ever worry that whatever social media platform you rely on is going to one day become the MySpace? Like it's just going to disappear. Like, and if so, do you have a plan, or what are you going to do? Dying.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many video players out there now. There's so many options. We can't really determine what's going to be happening in the next 2 years as well as like 5 or 10, and what kind of role YouTube is going to play there. And so we kind of just have to roll with the punches. I know there was a while back like a movement to go to another network because of YouTube's changes in policy, and it didn't really, that didn't stick. But now with online video being as easy to upload and be available to other people, I think there will always be an option like yourself out there somewhere. So.
Luckily for me, pretty much everyone on Tumblr is like addicted, so hopefully that doesn't go away. So far so good.
Thanks for your question.
Hello. How are you guys? My question is, a lot of the issues of being like a bigger YouTuber is worrying about scrutiny and also worrying about like your security by people knowing more or less about you. So like there's like a requirement to be more aware about what your content is going to do, and sometimes it causes it to be perhaps a little less personable. Do you guys ever fear that maybe you have content that you have now that could become a problem, or like what you're doing now could become a problem in the future if you were to get bigger?
Good question.
I've kind of had that happen. I've had videos like where I post a video and then someone like calls me out on it, and I didn't take it down. I did put like a note like in the description about it, but a lot of times when I film, like I'll be filming or whatever, and then I'll be like, wait, I can't say that. What you can say to like yourself and like your friends, like you can't just say that to everyone. So I watch what I say very much, especially when I edit. I'll be like, no, I can't say that, or like that's like too far or like too much. So I try to just kind of prevent it before anything happens.
I have said things because I've been making videos for 7.5 years. When I was 17, and I didn't know what was going on with it. So I have like gone back to old things and have privated them and stuff. Because I mean, I'm so much more educated on things that I wasn't back then as a Mississippi girl in a small town. So you get that. So like now, you have to just be very mindful. Maybe like every 6 months or so, go back to your stuff. Like, have I learned something new since then? So
There's also this idea that like you like can't be wrong and like can't make a mistake, and like you have to always be like right on and like super correct about everything, and you like your ideas can't have evolved since you made a video a few years ago. Which is something I think due to the permanence of like online records and things, but like, you know, in person, like people's ideas change all the time. So I'm not like super worried about that, because I guess you can kind of go and find other things and other things, but yeah, keep on going.
I think we have time for one more question. Sorry guys, so feel free to come up and ask the person.
Hi. I'm Ricky.
Ricky!
Hi! So my question, I've been doing YouTube for 4 years now, and I've seen a lot of little YouTube and less than famous people just come and go. Like some of my favorite content creators just don't make videos anymore, and it's sad because online video and YouTube isn't like one of my favorite ways to communicate with people. So my question for you all is, to what end do you feel like you will do YouTube? Like for me, as long as I have an internet connection, I'll probably always make videos, but like, do you have that for yourselves?
I don't know, I think for me, it's such a fun, creative outlet that if I can do it for as long as I can, I will. But I don't see myself being like, oh, well, I didn't make it, so what's the point, you know? Like, I'm just gonna keep having fun with it, like, I like it.
I think I like videos. I like video making so much. Like YouTube is the reason why I changed to a film major and working in it now. So like I always want to be making videos in some capacity. I think kind of hopping on like one of the earlier questions about like whether the platform changes in such a way that it's kind of has a different feel from the feel it has now. Like that might, you know, prevent me from doing it. Like it kind of goes away with like Facebook and just like completely changes formats. That might cause me to shift, but like I'll always be making videos.
Yeah, I'm definitely like in it for the long haul. I think the content that I make is valuable to so many people, and I think that even if I stopped, then my videos would be valuable still. But it's really important to me to still be able to engage with people and try to make whatever difference I can make through YouTube. So I don't see myself stopping ever.
And for me, it's like, okay, it's Friday, so if I'm not filming, like if I had done 2 videos already that week, and like I already had one for Friday, it's like, okay, this is not right. I should be doing something. But it's something that you want to be doing, but like it just feels like, hey, what are you doing? You didn't film today, so get on that.
If I don't get any enjoyment out of doing it, if one day comes and I don't, girl bye, I'll find something else to do. So I made so many connections and friends that I don't really feel like I have to make things to maintain those connections and friendships. But I do love making things. find another way to express